So yeah, everyone, my name is Raquel Black. Kia ani nishla, senjikane basis chin, ashikane dasuche ado torjini dashanale. I am a member of the Navajo Nation and the co-working manager here at Change Labs. So thank you for taking the time of your day to be here with us. First off, I'd like to give a brief introduction to Change Labs, and for those who aren't already familiar with our organization. Officially, Change Labs is a Native-led and Native-controlled nonprofit organization based on the Navajo and Hopi nations. Here at Change Labs, our goal and mission is to provide creative workspace tools, resources, and knowledge for Native entrepreneurs. How we accomplish our goals and mission is through our different programs. We have the co-working program, our business incubator program, and our kinship lending program. We have other exciting programs currently in planning stages, and we will be able to announce those details at a later time. To start off, I'd like to talk about the co-working program, which is the program that I oversee. For those of you who are in or near Tuba City, you may have been aware of our co-working studio over at the Moenkopi Legacy Inn campus for the past few years. That space specifically is no longer open, but construction is currently underway on our new headquarters, which will be located right next to the Tuba City chapter house on Main Street. For those of you who may not be familiar with what a co-working space is, it is a community space for business owners and entrepreneurs to use to help operate and manage their businesses. The space in particular will serve our Native entrepreneurs and small business owners, especially those based on the Navajo and Hopi nations in the Four Corners area. So starting early next spring, 2023, we will have a brand new co-working space available for you to use. And some of the services that we are able to offer are some tools that could be useful to your business. These are tools such as desk-based, Wi-Fi access, color printing, in-person coaching sessions, and a lot more. We also plan to bring back monthly in-person training for those of you who are interested. And the list of our co-working services is constantly being updated as far as how we plan to support our local entrepreneurs and business owners. And there at the new headquarters, we are always open to new ideas and how we can better service our communities. So if you have an idea on how this co-working space can benefit your business, please let us know. We're really excited to bring this community space for everyone to help with building and growing your business. And so please stay tuned for more information as our construction gets closer and closer to completion. And then we are also planning our grand opening events right now. So please keep a lookout for those updates as well. One of the most popular questions we get here at Change Labs is, how do I start a business? All of our programs and services here, including the co-working space, are designed to help our Native entrepreneurs, our artisans, our local vendors, and those we like to call change makers, because that's what local business owners are and entrepreneurs are. They are change makers. They're absolutely crucial to our local economies, and Change Labs is here to help both start up and strengthen their businesses. Now, for a brief overview of our business incubator program, it's one of the only Native-led business incubators for Native entrepreneurs in this country, and we're right here on the Navajo Nation and the border of the Hopi Nation. This program is led by our Director of Business Incubation, Cecilia So, and starting in 2023, it will be a 6-month program for Native entrepreneurs who want support and training on how to start and operate your business. If you're interested and would like assistance with things like your logo and website design, or how to set up and maintain your bookkeeping and finances, please visit our website for more information at nativestartup.org/incubator. And then next is another question we get often: how do I get help running my business? There are so many aspects to being an entrepreneur, and the answer or solution that you may be searching for may not always be obvious. Here at Change Labs, one of our driving factors is kinship, building relationships among our communities and our nations. And how Change Labs can help here is through our business coaching appointments. We offer free virtual 90-minute appointments with any of our business coaches. Our coaches are available on Mondays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and they each have their own area of expertise, depending on the kind of support you're looking for. We have a team of very bright and very eager coaches, such as Cecilia So, our director of the business incubator. We have Christine Laughter, the director of our kinship lending program. And then our finance director, Marsha Grayeyes, and a few more of our other coaches are, of course, Holly Patterson, Swarovski Little, who's also the newest addition to our Change Lab team. They are each incredibly knowledgeable in their specialties and will be able to assist you in areas where you're needing help with your business. Or if you're just starting out, they can assist you with creating your business. Create your business model and navigating the Navajo Nation systems for things such as your business site lease or registering with the Navajo Nation Business Regulatory. You can find more information or book your appointment with any one of them, of our coaches, here at the link, nativestartup.org/events. Another common question we get here at Change Labs is, how do I create a website? Until Change Lab can go back to hosting studio hours at our headquarters in Tuba City, I will refer you all to our YouTube channel. We currently have over 40 recorded sessions and discussions, each designed for Native business owners and all led by Native entrepreneurs and creatives. We update this page pretty regularly, so please check for upcoming opportunities. Another great resources we have to offer are our social media platforms, where Change Labs is on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And I do recommend that you check those pages out for their regular postings and updates as well. We here at Change Labs like to share other posts from other organizations and those in our network and our partners who have resources and knowledge to share, all for Native creative business owners and entrepreneurs alike. And then lastly, there's a whole spectrum of who we consider Native entrepreneurs. And we here at Change Labs have been curating our own list of them. If you're in the market for finding other Native service providers who can help you with your business, we currently have over 600 Native businesses in there, Native-owned businesses that we think are really, really great resources for you to help with starting or running your business. Or if you're looking for Native-made products, you can also visit the site here at resrising.org. And if you are a Native business owner or entrepreneur and you have services or products that you'd like to promote, feel free to add yourself to the listing at this site. It's free and it's a pretty simple process. All right. And then if you have any questions at all about Change Labs, or you're interested in any of our services and would like to know where to start, feel free to email myself. My direct email is raquel@nativestartup.org. And then before we get started, I'd like to go over a little bit of workshop etiquette and how we can be respectful of our guest time here today. We do ask that you stay on mute during the presentation unless you're called on, of course, but do feel free to populate the chat box with your questions. And also another reminder that our session is being recorded today and will be available on Change Lab's YouTube channel later this week. Introducing our guest for today, we have Kelsey Lee, who is a filmmaker, photographer, and chief executive member of Happy Accidents Media Production LLC. She's graduated from Northern Arizona University with a Bachelor of Science degree in electronic media, film, and a minor from Sedona Film School in independent filmmaking in 2013. Kelsey also happens to be the alumni, one of our alumni of Change Labs Incubator. She completed the program in 2021. So thank you, Kelsey, for being here. And we're really excited to hear her presentation. She's going to be talking about goal setting, especially with the new year coming in. We want to know, she's going to share with us information on how we can get organized and set our goals and how we can set ourselves up for success in the coming year. So thank you, Kelsey. I'm going to turn it over to you now.
It's weird because you can't really tell what other people are seeing. All right, so good morning, everyone. I'm going to be doing my presentation on goal setting, making plans to achieve your dreams. Thanks Change Labs for hosting this workshop. And so who's Kelsey Lee? Kelsey Lee and Shia Sitna Janina Sediskisni Bashachi German Dasha Che Kiani Dasha Nella. Like Raquel said, I'm a filmmaker, a business owner. I'm also a co-host of Navajo Tea Time. And so why do I know so much about goal setting and planning? It like all those different things of owning a business and creating film, being a content creator, being a parent and a wife, all of those aspects are different parts of goal setting and time management. And I just really love a well-organized schedule. Overview of goal setting, time management, scheduling with examples of how to brainstorm and set your goals, and different time management methods that I found useful. This isn't a deep dive into one specific goal setting system or planning system, but there will be a couple of prompts if you want to like grab a pen and paper or open up a Word doc to try and just brainstorm your own goals while we go through this presentation. So how I got started in to goal setting and planning is most of us know the routine of going into a border town or a larger town that has shops that we need, and sometimes people drive hours one way to be able to buy their basic necessities. So with the time it takes to get to the stores and the gas money it takes, we want those trips to be as productive as possible. And my introduction of goal setting and time management was I developed it because my mom has ADHD, and just going over what ADHD really quick, not deep diving into it, is just it's not being able to concentrate on tasks for a really long time and being very spontaneous with like your actions and your ideas. So when we would go to, so with that little background of me living with my mom, who just her mind's everywhere all the time, when we would go to Flag, there would be a point in our hour-and-a-half drive where my mom would be like, hey, so let's make that list. And then we would list off all the places we wanted to go or the things that we needed to buy. So that would lead us into identifying where we needed to go first. You know, was a store closing at 5 and we had to like rush past school time to get there, you know, because she was a teacher. And so she didn't get out until 4. And so we're like speeding to Flagstaff to get to the store before it closes at 5. So, and then just being able to think like, do we need to go to the bank? Do we want to buy the food last because we don't want it to spoil while we're driving around town? So basically like the goal was to get to all the places and buy all the things. And you create like a top 3 of like, you have to get to these 3 places in order for this to be a successful trip. So it was like the bank or the music store because me and my siblings were in band. Like, when do other places close? Do we want to have dinner? Do we have time to have dinner? Do we want to go to the mall, the grocery store, the time it takes to get gas? And then also just like the time it takes to drive from one store to the other during traffic hour, and just all that stuff. So I was doing that for my mom and my family at a very young age. And that's how I developed this innate system in me. So this is kind of like, I feel like what is expected when you go through a goal setting process is that you have your dreams and it's just a nice clean stairs. You have your action steps and your milestones to get to your completed goal. But in reality, it looks like this, you know, there's many ups and downs, and sometimes a process doesn't take as long as you think it's going to take, or there's tasks you didn't know you had to do first. And, you know, people have lives and things come up, and every single person is different. 2 people could have the exact same goal, but achieve them in different ways and in different time frames, because we all have our own personal lives and our own personal way of being able to complete tasks. So we're going to like trying to define goals. For me, most of looking into the goal setting system and world is the brainstorming method and the different brainstorming methods. And so we have like the life chart or the wheel of life chart, which is kind of like a philosophy of these are the different aspects of a person's life. And in order to have a balanced lifestyle, every one of these aspects need to be balanced. And the different versions of the life balance chart is also a part of various different goal setting methods and systems and planners. And then there's also the smarter goals with having your goals being specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, and then in the past couple of years, they've added the evaluate, reward, and review to the SMART, making it a smarter goal. And I feel like these two methods are really good at thinking about goals you want to create and how you want in different aspects of your life that you want to improve on, or ways to create your goals. And another variation of the Wheel of Life is I found this Wheel of Business. I have the website that I found a lot of this information of the Wheel of Business on at the bottom of the screen. But you know, if you're creating a business and you want to figure out goals to set for your business, it's really important to know what your business does. Like, do you need to focus on marketing, finance, customer service, or team development? And do you need to improve these things in your business? For me, with my business, with Happy Accidents, media production, we wouldn't need innovations or research and development because we're not creating cameras, we're not creating microphones, we're creating content. So that wouldn't be something for my business. So using this when you're trying to brainstorm what aspects of your business you use is really helpful. Also, I know Change Labs likes their business model canvas. So you can also take this and add it to your Wheel of Life or your Wheel of Business. And the philosophy of this, or like if you take a lot of the online assessments that are free, it's very self-reflective in that, like, oh, I need better team development because my team doesn't work too well. So I'll rate that as a 2, but I'd like to be at a 4 at the end of this goal setting timeline. Or I would like to have a better idea of my finances. And so right now we're at a 3, but if we maybe want to hire an accountant, we can get it to a 5 or a 10. So it's just trying to assess the different aspects in your life or in your business and identifying the areas that you want to improve on and that you can improve on. So we can start brainstorming on different goals do you want to set, you know, like areas in my life that I want to improve on. Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to start a business? Do you have a business idea? If you already have a business, how do you want to expand it? Or do you want to start the dreaded home site lease process? You know, goals I feel like can be as big or as small as you want them to be, as long as they're benefiting you. So out there in the chat, anyone want to comment or something of like a goal or an idea or an area in their life that you want to improve on or feel like can be turned into a goal? Or if you want me to go back and talk about like the different aspects of the Wheel of Life, I feel like I really rushed past that the brainstorming part. So we can take this moment right now to talk about some of those aspects and get deeper into it if anyone has any questions about them.
Well, I know one of my goals is to stop procrastinating as much.
Okay, so like let's look at that. Stop procrastinating as much. There's definitely different information later on to help, but like that's still like very vague. Like I want to stop procrastinating. Like on what specifically, you know? So then that can go into our next thing is evaluating the goals. Is your goal well-defined, clear, and unambiguous? You know, stop procrastinating is a very ambiguous term. Is a very ambiguous term. Like, you know, how do you measure if you're procrastinating or not? And then measuring up different things and being very specific, because some goals definitely have milestones that are known, and then sometimes you have to think and sit down a little bit more about your milestones. So not procrastinating. Is it just that you feel rushed at the end of a deadline, or do you constantly end up having to extend deadlines? You know, is there a way to, oh, maybe I can get it up to the deadline or get it before the deadline, and set those goals of like, I would like to complete my task a day before a deadline. That could be a goal to set and be able to measure it and be able to look back on it. And also, is it within reach? Is it realistic? Obviously, stop being procrastinating is very realistic and relevant to you, you know, because it has to matter to you. And It has a clearly defined timeline, start and ending date. Sometimes it's just creating the habit. So once the habit of not procrastinating becomes constant, that's sort of the end date of achieving that goal because you've achieved it. But then also like starting a business, you have when you start the process of creating the business, and then you have the process of when you launch the business. Or like a home site lease, you have the process of when you actually start doing all the work that comes into creating or applying for a home site lease. And then you know you've achieved that goal when you have that paper in hand, and that can take years, so many years of getting your home site lease done. And so a goal without a plan is just a dream. And so that kind of goes into what Nicole asked about is having time management to meet their goals. And so we have our ideas, we have our goals, we know what we want to achieve, and then putting it down in paper and breaking it down into an action plan and steps. So I have the YouTuber Matt Ragland on here specifically because this is where I got this information from him, from his video specifically of he has this QMWD method that he talks about where you have your quarter, month, weekly, daily, and then the GAP method, which is like the goal, action plan, and protective time. So for me, this video from him was really helpful because it showed me how to break a goal down into doable steps, into milestones, action steps, weekly tasks, daily deliverables. And it helps you break everything down if you just kind of use this quick, I guess, worksheet or guide on doing that. So something like that would look like this. I know it looks like a whole bunch of letters and words, but for the quarter, which is like 3 months and 12 weeks, basically. And so the top goal, the quarter, what you want to achieve within 3 months is where you would put that. So if we want to do an example of, say we want to make a short film. So the Q would be short film up there at the top. We want to have a completed short film. And the first month is pre-production. So 2 weeks we'll probably be doing script writing. The last week we're looking for locations, props, set, and actors that are a part of the script. And then the last week in the first month is scheduling. That's all pre-production, is getting all that stuff set up, getting the script created and actors. So after that month, we do those different actions, and then we break that down further to like the dailies in that, okay, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours a day for writing my script. And I just put ×5 because that's just a work week. But this method, this breakdown is very flexible to anyone's time schedule. You know, maybe you have to get this action step done this week, but you only have 2 days available. So you fit those 2 days in there. And that goes back to the GAP method of like goal, action, and protecting the time. You're protecting the time by putting it in your schedule, putting it in your plan, and saying, I'm going to work on this today or this week so that I can complete the action steps, so I can complete the goal. And that's how I like to break down my goals for my business, because we have, you know, quarterly business meetings and we want to know what goals that need to be completed that quarter and how do we do that. And so to spread out the work and spread it out between the 3 months, it's easier and it feels more attainable if, okay, all I have to do today is write my script for 2 hours. That's a lot less daunting and scary than it is to think, oh no, I have to complete a whole film in 3 months. It's no, today I need to work on my script, and then you just go through your plan that way. And I feel like breaking those down is very helpful. Any questions on this section here?
I have a question. Okay, so this says this is your main goal, and this is going to be quarterly. So if it's yearly, you just kind of multiply this by 4 then?
Yeah.
Or if it's going to be a 6-month goal, then just be 2 quarters then.
Yeah, you can expand it for as much as you want. So like if you want to make it 6 months or has 6 months to get this done, just add 3 more months. But the point is to like say, yeah, you have your goal, and then, you know, you divide it into 3 main things that need to happen in order to achieve the goal. And then you break it down more to like, to get that milestone for that month done, what action steps, and then you divide that by 4. And then you go further down to the weeks, like what daily deliverables or what can I get done this week to finish this action step. And so if you want to have like a yearly goal, you can just have your main year goal, and then you have your 4 quarters, and then that would be the milestone for each quarter, then the milestone for each month. And it's just like, you can make it as big or as small. Like maybe the goal doesn't take that long and it's literally just a month to get something done, where the main goal is the monthly milestone, and then you just have the 4 weekly action steps. So I feel like this way of breaking down the goals into sizable chunks and daily or weekly action steps is very helpful, and not thinking that the goal is so unachievable and so big, and it's just like taking one little step at a time.
So the dailies A, B, C, D, that would be basically prioritized action steps.
Yeah, so like to achieve this goal today, like when you're setting up your planner or your checklists of what you're doing that day, is like, okay, I have to make sure I get this daily done to get further along in my action step. Like I said, like with the script writing, you want to get the script done in 2 weeks, but that feels really daunting. You know, like I have to finish an entire script in 2 weeks, but no, I'm going to write for 2 hours today. I'm going to write for 2 hours tomorrow. So it helps you hyper focus on smaller tasks, but you know that these smaller tasks are leading you to the bigger steps, that bigger action steps, the bigger milestones to get to your goal. Like instead of just jumping across, you're taking little tiny steps or hopping across the little rocks to get across the river. That was a weird metaphor I just threw in, sorry. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? So here are some quotes that I kind of like to remind myself and tell my other business owners is, we don't find time, we make time. Because for me, if I have free time, then I'm probably going to go watch TV or go for a walk or not do work. So you have to make time, and that's part of the gap of protecting, like, you know, the P in gap is protect the time for completing these tasks. And we make time for things that matter to us, and that goes back to, is the goal relevant to you, to what you're wanting to achieve in your life or in your business? And I feel like you're more passionate and ready to take chunks out of your limited time if the thing matters to you. And so we have the goals, we have the milestones, and we have the action steps, and now we need to make the time for these things. And for me, this is like, time management is one of the things I love about filmmaking, which is really odd. You know, people say, oh, I like the cinematography or the directing or the screenwriting. Like, no, I like taking all of those parts of a film, like being able to organize an actor's schedule with a director's schedule and putting it all together on like a location's availability and making the story happen, and pushing everything into a timeline and turning all this chaotic tasks into a nice little sheet. So the top 3 method is, I feel like, the best way to start in time management, because it's not as rigid and it's not as daunting as some of the other ones later on, in that you have 3 things that you need to get done today, this week, this month, to feel like you were productive, you know, because our goal, like the goals that we're setting for business or for ourselves, it's not the only thing we have to do in a day. You know, sometimes, yes, you need to get the script writing done, but then you also need to do laundry, and maybe you need to help your kid out with their homework. So having those top 3 things done, saying, I need to make sure these 3 things get done today, and finding and making time in your schedule for those top 3 things. But then if you get more done, then that's great. You were more productive than you expected to be. But then, like, you know, you have days where maybe you have a migraine, or you're just not feeling as inspired, or as motivated that day, and you just crawl to the finish line with those top 3 things, but you're still productive and you're still moving forward because you got those 3 things done. And then further down is like the block scheduling. I feel like a lot of people associate this the most with the time management, and it's basically allocating large chunks of time to related tasks. So this is the easiest if you are in complete control of your schedule, or you know what your day is going to look like week after week after week. So Monday is the same as next Monday and the Monday after that. So it's easier to create block templates. And it's basically having chunks of time scheduled out throughout your whole day. So the amount of time it takes to get up and get ready for work, the amount of time it takes to commute to work, what are you doing that morning? Like say you get into the office at 9 a.m. and then you spend from 9 a.m. to 9:15 reading emails, and then 9:15 to 9:20 responding to emails, and then like 9:30 to 10:30 you're doing admin work, and every chunk of your time is designated to something. And like I said, like if you have the freedom to create that for yourself, it's a very helpful method in making sure you're maximizing your time in the day. But sometimes being on a block schedule isn't helpful, and it's more harmful. For me and my schedule, my days are very, very chaotic. Just because sometimes I don't know what I'm doing later on in the day, not because I'm not good at planning, but because I also have to take care of my grandma. And so sometimes she has an emergency and I have to stop whatever I'm doing and help her with that. And so not being able to schedule the different things I'm helping her with in my block schedule definitely messes everything up. So if I'm taking 20 minutes to go help my grandma fix her TV because she changed the channel, that ruins the rest of the scheduling. And then another method is the Pomodoro method, which it started out as a study, or it stems from students studying and having hyper-focused studying time of like 25 minutes studying and having 5 minutes for a break. And there's a lot of like research and psychology papers on this specific method in saying how important it is to have that hyper-focused time while you're studying or working on something, but then also just as important are the breaks in between. And so being able to really focus on a task and not have any distractions helps people work through their stuff, but then they also need that time to reset their brain, to rest their brain. And another YouTuber I watch, I don't have her linked up here below, but it's Mariana's Study Corner. I'll try and give Change Labs all these links, so on the replay you can click on all the, my resources and links for the stuff I'm talking about. What she did was she mixes the block schedule and the Pomodoro method in one of her videos, and saying how she creates longer stretches of time for blocking, but then she also remembers to add in the longer breaks. So if I'm editing for 2 hours, I'll probably need a 20-minute break to reset my mind. And this method here is really helpful to help prevent burnout. You know, we keep hearing about burnout, and like how you just literally can't work anymore because your brain's completely fried and you just have no desire to do work anymore. Any questions about like some of these methods up here?
I think I kind of missed how you said that you fixed it to where, because I do the same thing a little bit, where when you take care of somebody and they have an emergency, then it doesn't work. So how did you correct that for yourself, or what worked for you?
For me, I think the Pomodoro method, mixing it with the block scheduling, where it's not, I know I need to spend 2 hours editing, but it doesn't matter when I do 2 hours editing, you know? So I could wake up and be like, okay, I need to do 2 hours editing today, but then my grandmother calls and it's like, okay, I'll push that off until after the thing, or maybe I can get it done before because she has a scheduled appointment. And so using the Pomodoro method to help schedule out that time and make it more fluid and flexible instead of having like every minute of your day allocated to a specific task from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep. Just focusing on the time I need to work and then letting it fall where it needs to fall so that it allows room for different unexpected tasks when they come up.
Oh, okay, yeah. You saying that was better. I think you did say that, but I was like, wait, what? How? But I get it. Okay, so the 25 minutes, that's like their, I don't know, test study golden minute time. Because
Well,
usually I'll tell the kids to do 45 minutes and then take a 15-minute break.
yeah, that this is kind of like the basic, like the 25-minute, but like you said, like how you added the 15-minute break because you added more time. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. So you're doing good on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so like I use the Pomodoro method with the top 3 of like I said, like I need to get editing done, I need to do admin work, and I need to respond to that email. And with the unpredictability of taking care of your grandmother, as long as you get those 3 things done, it doesn't matter when it gets done. And that's how I've been able to be at peace with the way my scheduling goes. Because if I could, I would love to have a block schedule where I know exactly what I'm doing from time to time to time. But being a creative, working with creatives and taking care of my grandma, that's not always the reality of life. I think I've seen some of those cube thingies, and not a cube, but like it's like almost like a weird little die, like a 20-sided die, and you can just like move it to like when you're doing a task and then move it to another task. I've seen those and I've always wanted to get one on the different productivity videos I've watched. Okay, any
Email
other?
me, and if you don't want to like deal with your phone sometimes, like messing with it sometimes it's so annoying. So those are really cool. You just set it and then you're like, all right, hurry up, get whatever you need done.
Yeah, like it's kind of like a weird little game. It's like, okay, I need to get these things done in this specific time. And sometimes you feel really great about yourself because like, well, we'll talk about reviewing stuff, like it doesn't take 20 minutes to respond to an email. Maybe you just need 5 minutes and you're wasting time looking at other stuff, and like being able to just assign those time frames to it can help you better optimize your time.
Cool. So I've been doing this for a while. I didn't know it was like a method. I just kind of started doing it because I was like annoyed. Like what you said, I'm gonna do email and then I get distracted and I start doing something else and then I'm like, oh shoot, I had to go back. So I had to like make myself, I guess, like do it in that time frame or else, and then make time for like mindless stuff, right? Like TikTok or social media. Sometimes it was social media for my break, and then that's where even my break time, because I had a time limit on my break, I couldn't just keep looking at TikTok or whatever I was looking at, and it helped me focus a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Putting a time limit on breaks definitely stops people from like binge watching TV shows or binge watching TikToks. And a 5-minute break can mean anything. Like just having that rest can mean anything for anyone. So like if you're really into doing a lot of work, being able to sit down and like take 10 minutes to read or go for a walk, it's mainly what you do to rest and relax and reset your brain. So definitely watching social media and TikTok is a way to relax. So these are different like lists of how to like protect your time. You can make to-do lists, so these are things that need to get done in that day, and then planning, putting it in your planners, and having planners and digital calendars or productivity apps. There's millions out there, from Monday, Asana, ClickUp, Notion. There's tons of apps out there that you guys can try and use. I try using Notion, but with having to set everything up manually. I know it can help if I just sit down and do it, but I haven't made time to do that yet. But yeah, so like planners, I do bullet journaling. So for me, being able to add in that creativity of designing a layout is very relaxing for me. And so I get to add that time and that relaxing artistic time into some of my work time when I'm creating lists and creating plans. So is that done? Is that it? Are we all done? Are our goals achieved? No. We can't forget the ER in the SMARTER goals, which is the evaluate, the reward, and review. So looking back on our journeys of how we got to each milestone and how we got to our completed goal, did we actually do anything? Did we get anything done with all the work that we've been doing? I know sometimes I feel like I'm on my computer all day and I don't feel like I got anything done that day. Was it because I'm just messing around on an editing app that I probably wasn't doing the work I was supposed to be doing? Maybe, but like taking the time back and reflecting on those things, like is the time management system you are using helpful? Like I said, like the block method wasn't helpful for me, and having a chaotic day, I was spending more time trying to organize my day than I was actually doing the tasks because I had to set a different block schedule up for every day. And that's not helpful when it just becomes most of what you're doing. Or like, was the payoff worth the time you put in? So like if you have a business and you're trying to communicate more with your customers, so you end up talking to one customer for a month, but then they didn't end up buying anything. So was that a loss, or did that customer end up recommending 3 or 4 other people who did buy something because you spent so much time? Or was it actually a loss because they ghosted you at the end and you never hear from them? You know, so it's important to take time and review what happened and be able to figure out what things you said, how you could say things better for your customers to turn potential customers into buyers. You know, did you overplan yourself? Did you think doing something wouldn't take as long, or did you underplan? Did something not take as long to do it? Like we're saying, does it take 20 minutes to respond to an email? Probably not. And you can identify these different things. So it's really helpful to go back and look at the different ways you've done things, the problems you were having, how can you do things better, how can you do things different, and being honest with yourself is very helpful. And if you buy like goal setting planners or subscribe to different goal setting methods and systems that are out there, they definitely do have these review questions and these reflection questions built into their systems. Yeah, so what I learned through my productivity journey is that you definitely need to be open to learning about yourself as a person, like how you work, how you operate, what, you know, the way your mind works. And there's hundreds and dozens of personality tests out there. There's the Myers-Briggs personality test. There's the Harry Potter house personality test. There's even a horoscope, you know, if you believe in those things. And then the one that I feel like that is out and recent and new that's really changing the way I think about things is a chronotype. So the chronotype is the internal circadian rhythm or body clock of an individual that influences the cycle of sleep and activity in a 24-hour period. So this first started out as a sleep study, and it measures your ups and your downs of energy throughout the day, and they're different for every person. And that's just the way their body works naturally. And so it's basically saying if you're a morning person, if you're a night owl, if you have high energy all day, or if you have low energy all day, or maybe you'd have low energy in the evening, or you have high energy in the middle of the day, but you're kind of low both at the morning and the evening. And I feel like knowing more about how you as a person interacts with the world and how you think and how you work and what motivates you, it empowers you more when you move through the world, because then you're not apologizing for the little quirks or traits that you have. Like for me, I'm an introvert, and it helps me more when I'm planning, because if I have to do a social event or networking, I know I definitely need time to plan in the buildup before the event. And then I definitely need time to recover afterwards. So knowing that about myself, I can plan my tasks and my work around that recovery time that I'm definitely going to need. And yeah, so it definitely does, knowing more about yourself and your personality and how you work and how you think helps you achieve your goals, because you can better optimize you as a person. Yeah, definitely. Going through a menstrual cycle and knowing how you work then too, definitely helps. And just like knowing, are you actually going to be really sick or are you fine? You know, and being able to plan around those things help with achieving your goals, because you'll know your temperament, you'll know your energy level. And I feel like knowing that stuff about yourself just makes it easier when you're explaining it to other people or making schedules. So like if you're not a morning person, why would you make a very important meeting in the morning when you know you're not at your top level? Or even if you are a morning person, so why would you make something really important scheduled later in the evening when you're super tired? And it just helps you function better. And yeah. And so also, like, there's no perfect system out there. Like, something might work really well for you, for other people, but nothing's perfect, because we're all different people and we all work differently. We all have different things in our life that we have to also add into our days. And so I feel like it's perfectly fine to Frankenstein systems. Like for me, when I look at that, the Wheel of Life chart, and the philosophy of that is saying, like, if everything's all tens, then you are a perfectly well-balanced person. But that means different things to other people. So like I said, as an introvert, me being social isn't the top of my list. So I know I don't socialize much, so I would rank that as a lower thing, but I don't need it to be higher. And so I feel like sometimes things and assessments like that definitely depend on you as a person and how you want to interpret these different systems and these different philosophies into your life to make it. These are all systems that you can change and make them better for you so that you achieve your goals. It's not like a math test where you have to do the right formula to get to the right answer. You know, there's different ways to get to the same number or the same goal. And then, like I said before, review what you've done honestly, because these are your goals and they're for you to achieve and your dreams to become reality. So be honest with yourself, because if you're not honest in the way you're working, in the way you're reviewing the way you've worked and the things you've done, you're not helping anyone. You're not helping yourself, because you're not fixing the problems that arise. And I feel like one way to help with this is have accountability partners. You know, someone there to call you out on your BS when you're just making excuses and not addressing the problems that come up, or or finding the solutions to the problems. And so these can be your friends, these can be business coaches, these can be mentors. You definitely don't want accountability partner to just be a yes person, because that doesn't help. And the last thing I find very helpful with being productive and completing these goals is consistency. And there's definitely the 30-day time frame, which is very generic, of like saying you have 30 days for something to become a habit, for it to become ritual, to become part of your daily task list, you know, where it's just something you do every day. And sometimes you need more time for it to become a habit, and sometimes you need less time for something to become a habit. But with these systems, these different types of productivity and goal setting systems that are all out there, you know, really take a look and say, did I actually give the system a chance? Did I follow it the way it told me to follow it? Or was I just messing around and not doing everything as they told me to? So I don't know if the system works. I really didn't follow it through. And yeah, so just being able to be consistent and create habits with your productivity is very helpful, because then it becomes second nature in some of the things you do. And that's kind of the end of it. Any other questions or comments? Yeah, for sure. Like I said, like they're definitely different. And if you have like a fast-paced work style, like when you do own your own business and you're seeing right away that a system isn't working, it's fine to try and change it up, or maybe like doing a review and seeing what part of the system isn't working and what can you just take out and what can you add in. And I feel like reviews should definitely be done monthly at the latest, but definitely weekly, to figure out and correct small mistakes or bad habits when they're starting to form. Any other questions or something that needs to be elaborated on?
If you could go back to the wheel of stuff, the beginning part, if you can elaborate a little bit more on that.
The Wheel of Life chart, it stems from a bunch of different philosophies, and I personally don't do them because, like I said, most of my goals are for business, but there are various assessments you can take out there, or even with different productivity and goal setting systems. Like if you buy a goal setting journal, they'll have questionnaires to help you fill out the Wheel of Life chart. But from the systems and the different assessments I've seen online, they're definitely self-administered. So like I said, if you look at the different aspects and say, oh, physical body, am I fit? Do I feel healthy? And it's like, yeah, I feel healthy, but can I be healthier? It's like, yes. So I feel healthy, so I'll put myself at a 5. But can I be healthier, like eating more healthy food, exercising more, drinking more water? Yeah, I can do that. So maybe in the future, I want to be a 7. And within that time frame, trying to achieve those levels. And I guess, like I said, they're very self-reflective and self-imposed on what you feel like you score on each of those things.
Oh, for like the overall versus
Yeah.
just the work.
Yeah, so this is more for like brainstorming and identifying goals that you may want to set. So like in the career area, do you feel like you're happy with your career, or like what would your career be between 1 and 5 or 1 and 10? It's like, oh, I think I'm probably at a 6. And it's like, okay, where do you want to be in your career? Oh, maybe I want to be at an 8. And then you sit down and you think, how can I get from my career to be a 6 to an 8? Do I need to create better boundaries in my career? Do I want to get a raise? Do I want to get a promotion? How can I get my score up? And that's how the brainstorming and defining goals, and that's how it fits into this section.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, did I actually help? I'm not sure. Sometimes I feel like I ramble on about some of these things because I definitely don't have any in-depth training. Like I said, these are all just me between like my 6 years of just watching YouTube videos and looking up different researchers and remembering the information and trying to find the accurate information to relay back to you guys.
No, that's good. I think I'm kind of on your end where sometimes it's hard, but I do feel like that's the life balance, right? The work-life balance that they call. And then it depends on what type of work you're doing. So if you're a home worker, so I work from home, I own my own business, and I definitely have more freedom, and I can wake up when I want to, I can end when I want to, and I have things that go on during the day. But then if you have like an 8 to 5 job, right, that will be different again too, because you're confined in that time. You have to arrive at work at a certain time. You have to be dressed, and all that. Like I can be in my pajamas all day and I'm good. So I think it's just, I think you're really good. I'm so glad that you said that. You really have to embrace yourself. And when you're starting your business, coming from that 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 to transition to your own business, I really had to learn to embrace myself and how you said, you know, am I a night owl? Am I a morning person? And at that point in my life, I was not a morning person, but I wanted to be. And that was, I guess, one of my goals that I kind of made, to say, well, if you want to be a morning person, then, you know, do this to get there. But if not, you know what I mean? So then it was like, sometimes, again, even the menstrual cycle or life events, you know, COVID, life happens. So that stuff happens. And it's like, well, can you really realistically maintain doing this right now when this other stuff is going on? So I think too, giving yourself grace and really just learn from yourself. So I really love that reward. We didn't I don't know if you really talked about the reward, but you talked about the review, which is totally important, to be honest, to say, yeah, I did BS work this week. I didn't keep what I wanted, and that's why it didn't work. Well, what is going to work for me? I think the reward is very important too, for what you've done, even if it's something small, is very important for yourself. And I'm still learning that myself. So it's really cool to get some reminders, especially for like the new year, in these things too. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Like I definitely did not touch on the reward. At the moment, I'm definitely not rewarding myself. My reward is being able to check off the little thing that I've done. I'm sure other people, like they go out to eat, or they just spend the day not focusing on work, and it's definitely very personalized to you on what your reward needs to be. Alfonso, John, the GAP method is goal, action, and protected time. Get to that screen. Where is it? Right here. So it's the goal, action, and protected time that you make. So it's just a little less structured in how, like, you would place it in a quarter. So it's not like this is the quarter goal, these are the monthly milestones, this is the weekly action steps, and these are the daily deliverables. This is just like a little smaller, like if it's a smaller goal, or if it is for your daily deliverables of like, here's my goal for the day, this is the action, and this is me putting it in the planner on my to-do list to protect the time for that.
I love how Valine said that they kind of had like a group that kind of gets together. I honestly think that worked for me. I'm a person that likes to, I won't say I'm fully extrovert. I can definitely be an introvert, but I think that having those weekly meetings with like-minded people have helped me a lot, because we've shared our goals too. Like, you know, we'll go around the table and say, you know, what did you achieve this week? And it was really cool, because you want to say something, right? And then in the beginning, a lot of people are like, I woke up. I made it to this meeting. And sometimes that happens, right? And that's okay too. But if you're really serious about what you want, and you have those people that you can do that with, is such a blessing. Because then you can say, I did this and I got that. And you really have somebody too that's being accountable to you. So be it your family or a group or something, I think that is so helpful.
Yeah, that's definitely goes back to having the accountability partners. You know, other business owners can also be accountability partners of like, where, hey, this is what I did with my business. What did you do in your business? And like being able to uplift each other and motivate each other to keep going forward.
Kelsey, I don't know if you've seen Valine's comments on there. She's talking about her goal setting successes with dialoguing with her team. She had 3 people, close friends, who closely follow the creation of her business. And every weekend they talked about her business and spoke about where they want to go, or where they want to go with her business, and then suggestions on advertising, promos, and contacts. She says it felt good to have a team like that. And her final comment says, it's like a campfire meetup and meeting and putting energy out into the universe for your business. That's a really great insight from her. For those who don't know, Valine here runs and operates her business, Val's Fry Bread. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, like that goes back to like accountability partners, and it's really helpful when like you get positive feedback on people saying, "Oh, you're doing a really good job. I like what your business is doing, and I would like to help you. Even if I don't need your product or service, how can I help you?" And that's always nice to hear back from your community. Any other questions or comments about the presentation or anything else? I feel like I rushed through my presentation. It's definitely not 90 minutes.
Yeah, I'd like to say sometimes too, it's like I started working from home prior to the pandemic. And for me, like I'm a very structured person. So I would always, even though my commute was like down the hall to the next room, I would always still get up at my normal time and like change out of like my clothes. Because if I'm like if I'm in like too like comfortable clothes, like my pajamas all day, it just really messes with my mindset of the work for the day. So I always have to like fully like, you know, get dressed into different clothes. I have to like keep that routine, and that structure has like really helped me. And what I've recently started doing is that I started scheduling like earlier mornings to do like deep analysis work. So like, because I do a lot of financial review and things that take a little bit a more thought process, but again, it's like that block time that just kind of works for me earlier mornings than later in the day, because then I can stagger my meetings later in the day, and I know I've got a bulk of my work done already in the morning. So come 9 a.m. I'm pretty much done with like hard analysis or recommendations that, you know, and I try to do it like that, scheduling it in the morning. And I'm a big writer. I like writing things out. So I have like a full on calendar of I have like the 3-month calendar on my wall. So that kind of helps me see like past month, current month, and future month.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely creating routines, especially when you work from home. Like Valerie says, she's in her pajamas all day if she wants to be. And sometimes people don't ever get their day started until they put on clothes and they feel like they're going somewhere for work, and it just creates that routine. So that's very helpful too.
Yeah. And even building out things like I take like a 15-minute walk, you know, mid-morning, and then a 15-minute walk like in the afternoon, just to kind of like, because I guess I joke that I'm very much like food driven, reward driven. So if I have something to work towards, then I am more motivated to do it, to be like, oh my gosh, I have like my 3 o'clock afternoon walk, you know, in 30 minutes, I have to finish this, you know. I'm very like motivated by small rewards like that. So, and even if it's like, okay, well, if I work, you know, I feel like more like if I can add another hour here, then, you know, I can leave earlier on my day so I can like, I don't know, go do something fun. So I try to give myself those like small, like you're saying, like rewards for, and that tends to be good motivation for me.
Yeah, for sure. For me, like my brother, who's also one of my business partners, he says I don't have an off brain. Like I'm always thinking about my business and I'm always thinking about work. And that's really true for me. And I've actually tried to actively not be just thinking about my business, because I'll just be like brainstorming ideas and have a notebook to write it down. And when I'm not actively doing that, I feel very unmotivated sometimes. And so I know for me, not thinking about my business is a hindrance just with my day, because I'm always planning things and scheduling things in my mind. And some people are like, oh, nope, when I'm done working, I'm done, I'm off, I'm doing something else. But I love my work so much that it's like my passion. So I'm always thinking about it and always thinking about new project ideas, new ways to try and get customers or promote our business. And it's just always running through my head. I never stop it, because when I try stopping it, I just feel just sad, I guess.
Thank you, Kelsey, for this presentation. I really enjoyed the goal action, the gap, and also that the quarter, monthly, weekly, daily. I feel like rest is important just as much as work is, and I feel like I do 7 days of work a week. You know, kind of like what you're talking about there. And I feel like I don't take enough time to just go and relax or stop, because I work throughout the week, and then on the weekends I sell. So it's kind of split up there. But I try to maximize as much as I can do per day. And that kind of catches up on me when you're doing like 3 months of work nonstop, you know, for this end quarter, because it's my busiest time. So I'm just trying to figure out how to overall keep the same amount of intensity with less I guess work gaps, I guess what I'm talking about. Yeah, with the resting.
Yeah, for sure. And that goes back to like reviewing, like how long does it actually take to do some of these projects or these tasks? Can you cut them in half and save time? Or do you need to be like, no, I need to take at least 2 hours of my day and just have a break and watch a movie or do something fun? And like scheduling in the rest time is also helpful too, of like, I'm going to take this day and not do work. Because like I said, like burnout is a very serious thing when it comes to like entrepreneurs and people who work for themselves.
Wonderful. And then Kelsey, there are some people here, actually for everyone else, let me first talk. Kelsey is actually an alumni of one of our programs. She's an alumni, if you missed my introduction earlier, of the incubator program. And Kelsey, we do have Valerie, who is currently in the incubator, and then a couple of other people who are actually in the application process of applying for the next cohort to enter our incubator programs. What organizational or goal setting tips can you offer to our members or our members to be potential members?
This whole presentation.
Well, tying it back to like your experience with the program and all your work with Change Labs, like your number one tip would be
like I said, like it definitely be like doing the honest review and evaluating the steps you're taking with your coach, and definitely take advantage of having the coaches there and talking with them. And like with my coach, there wasn't a film expert, a media expert there, but we weren't afraid to ask them questions, and they always like, okay, I'll go, I don't know that, but I'll come back with more information to help you. And so like, don't be afraid to just ask the questions that you need, because they're there for you and they're there to help you create and sustain your business. And then don't be afraid to say like, no, you're not answering my question correctly, and like, you know, this is what I mean. Because that's definitely what we had with my business. They're like, oh, you guys should be more corporate in the way you present, but that definitely didn't feel like us. So like, as you can see in my PowerPoint, it's very artsy and colorful, and that's just who we are as a business, and that's the way we want to present our business. So we definitely had to fight with some of our coaches in drilling that point home and just knowing who we were as a company.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And then thank you, Nicole, for being here. For those of you who are still here and are watching now, Nicole is also one of our past speakers. She works for Red W based out of Albuquerque right now. And then we have Valerie. She's one of our incubator cohort members currently. She has a lot of great insight. She currently runs and operates her own nonprofit business, which is really, really exciting. And then Valine, we have Valine Hatakli. She's another small business owner. She runs and operates Val's Fry Bread. And we've worked with her. Change Labs has worked with her many times, and she's catered for a couple of our, or at least one of our events that I know of. And her food is amazing. So thank you all for being here. Bonnie, Sam, Eleanor, Alfonso, thank you for attending. Kelsey's contact information is here. You can go ahead and follow her on social media. She actually does a lot of work for Change Lab as well. She edits a lot of our videos like this one here, and she'll help us get them all uploaded onto YouTube. So if you're seeking services for media, photography, videography, definitely contact Happy Accidents. They are very, very great to work with.
Okay.
And then, if there's no other questions or comments for Kelsey, I will go ahead and take over the screen again. Let's see. I rearranged everything and I lost where it was at.
One question popped up. content
Oh,
creation,
yes.
I'm still new myself to being a content creator. So I feel like if I was going to give you any advice, it'd probably be something I learned yesterday. So that's, yeah, definitely the newer phase of like content creation. I'm more, my schooling was for traditional media production in like a film studio on a film set. So trying to adapt that to YouTube and content creation has definitely been a journey. Maybe I can talk about that later when I feel more confident in my content creation.
My last slide is just thank you for everybody, to Kelsey and all of everybody in our audience for being here and taking time to share your experiences and your comments and all your questions with us. If you missed any part of Kelsey's presentation, Change Labs will have the session posted to our YouTube channel very, very soon as Kelsey can get it edited. And if you missed any part of my portion of today's session about Change Labs and all of our services, and if you're interested in any of those services that we offer or would like to get connected with anyone here on the call, you can feel free to reach out to me through my email here, or you can visit our website at nativestartup.org/events. I'm sorry, just nativestartup.org for more information. And that's all I have for now. I will be posting our next workshop starting in 2023. I don't have the graphics up right now, but it is going to be January 18th. So you can save the date on that if you'd like to participate on that call. We will have the CEO and co-founder of Navajo Power, Brett Isaac. He's going to talk about his experiences as the CEO and all the work that he's done. And it'll be right here on Zoom as well. So thank you so much for joining us. We will see you all later, and Happy New Year's, happy holidays. Be safe, be warm, check on each other, take care of each other. We'll see you guys next year.